What's going on YouTube? Raj here, back again with a fragrance review today. Today's review is going to be on Dior Homme Sport. This is the 2012 version, so it has been reformulated slightly, and I'll touch on that later. First of all, just have a quick look at the bottle here. You've seen it all before, but there are a couple of changes here. The sprayer is silver, got a red dot down there, and a red band going across the top. Really nice details all over this bottle. It's one of those bottles which actually you really appreciate how good this looks when you hold it and you see it with your own eyes instead of in a magazine or in somebody else's video. And you've also got Dior on the inside casing, the casing around the sprayer tube. Nice touch, a really great bottle. In terms of my view actually on, before I get into notes, let me just tell you a little bit about my thoughts on Dior. For me, Dior are just one of the best designer houses out there. Actually, you know what, not the best designer house, but just one of the best fragrance houses out there, because they have a great designer range, which is at the higher end in terms of pricing and quality, and you've also got your exclusive line or the privé line. This Dior, they can do no wrong for me, because they've got very simple fragrances, quite classic ones, very creative ones, quite dark fragrances, some which can be pushing the boundaries of what men's fragrance is. What men's fragrance is. This is an example of one of those fragrances, and I mentioned earlier that this had been slightly reformulated because they've increased the concentration of iris, Tuscan Iris Absolute, in this fragrance, which is actually for me brilliant, because I think this fragrance is very accessible to the mass market. And what I mean by that is because iris sometimes can become, can smell quite feminine, floral, powdery, sweet, dusty, sweet smell, which I get in some fragrances. For me, this fragrance is in such perfect balance that you don't have to worry about smelling feminine at all. If this is a concern of yours, that you're thinking, oh Iris, I'm going to smell like a woman, you know, I don't like Infusion D'Homme by Prada, I'm not going to like this. This is one of the most well balanced and one of the finest quality fragrances I've actually ever come across. And the reason I'm talking about it in such good terms is because this fragrance is actually very simple. If you look at the notes in here, you've got, you know, the usual Dior Homme Sport, the usual Dior Homme range of notes in here, ginger and citrus and a touch of iris and some cedarwood in here. But everything is such good quality, and it's so well balanced, and it's all amalgamated into something really sophisticated, a very versatile scent, a scent which can actually be worn, in my experience, across different seasons. I have bought this recently, but I've tried it in cold weather and I've tried it in warm weather, and it works really well. You can wear this on different occasions. I think night out is actually the best, or a special occasion is best. Really has become one of my favourite fragrances. I don't often wear fragrances on consecutive days, but I found myself wearing this, you know, maybe 5 days out of the week, which makes me think I should have bought 100 ml. I usually go for 50 mls or smaller size bottles. So what I get from this fragrance is everything in one go. One note doesn't dominate the other, but they all work in a nice harmony. So you've got the ginger in there and the grapefruit, actually, which is really what I get in the opening. A really great, if you imagine a nice grapefruit juice, it's very authentic. One of the finest citruses I think you'll ever come across. Where this fragrance shines is the Tuscan Iris Absolute in here. That's the note. That's the iris is Iris Absolute, and it's been really amped up, the concentration here, and I think it's amazing. You know, it never becomes too much. Yep, it is definitely slightly powdery. I heard the words, you know, lipstick and makeup and all these feminine connotations around this iris note, but it's not like that at all. This is actually very masculine fragrance. But not just because of the iris, but also because you've got some cedarwood in there, which is again just calming this iris down, but again working in a great balance. It does dry down this fragrance after the first few hours, where projection is quite strong. You are going to get noticed. It does dry down into almost a musky, woody fragrance. The top note in the middle of this fragrance is where it shines, and the dry down is nice but nothing spectacular, to be honest, but it's good quality. I really recommend this fragrance, and if you're somebody who has maybe never heard of Iris, or has heard of Iris and heard of floral, powdery, women's makeup, lipstick and all these words, I would say actually just go and try it. You know, don't let words like that or descriptions like that put you off, because you never know how you'll like a fragrance until you actually try it. So really recommend this fragrance a lot. It has become, in a short space of time, one of my favourite fragrances. Quite different to Dior Homme Intense, and is a more manageable and wearable version of that. So if you think that the Intense version is too well, intense, then just go for this one. I'd recommend this really highly, and I'm going to give it a rating of 9 out of 10. The reason, you know, up to this point I've never said anything bad about this fragrance, but you know, 10 out of 10 for me. A fragrance has to be so complex and really has to blow your mind, and this comes close to doing it in terms of how I think about this fragrance, but it's not that complex, and I've smelled better fragrances than this, to be honest. But yeah, highly recommended from me. Check it out. Yeah. But if you have the original Dior Homme and you have Dior Homme Intense, you could probably forget about this. You know, there's nothing too different going on, but definitely a fragrance worth checking out. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.